I am at the last 2 stitches, so I am going to be knitting these 2 together, and then we're done. So I'm just gonna double secure it. Just gonna double secure it like this and pull it. And I'm going to be cutting my yarn. Then we're done. Now you can see the 4 buttonholes. If you look closer, you can see them. If you wish, you can block it, but like I said, I don't have time to block it. I have to ship this tomorrow. It has to be gone. Okay, so tomorrow, hopefully tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday. Friday, hopefully, because I still have to knit the sleeves. Okay, so what I do is I just put it on my needle and I kindly weave it. You have to weave it. You have to weave it. I don't want the yarn to be showing. So this is how I weave it. Just hide it. Okay, so on my next, when I come back, I'm going to be starting on the sleeves. This is the part 2 that I have made, the video. The tutorial is pretty long to knit a Bolero. That's why I'm making a total of 3 videos. How to knit the Cape Middleton sweater. That's what they asked me. Do you have the Cape Middleton sweater in this size? So that's how people look for. Now the sweater's called the Cape Middleton sweater. Okay, so I'll meet you when I'm starting the sleeves. And please do not forget to subscribe, share it with your family and friends, and I'll see you later starting the sleeves. I have weaved every single yarn that was showing off, and I sewed my tag. It's made in Canada, ufair.etsy.com. You can find me here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to be slipping the stitches back to my small needle. I'm not going to use my big needles yet because when I slip to this needle, this is very tiny, so the stitches are becoming tiny as I'm going, but when I slip it back, I won't have problems. It will slip easily, but I will be knitting with the bigger needles, the 4 or the 4.5, I can't remember, because the numbers are erased. I think this is 2. This is a 2 needle. Just follow your instructions, what it says on the yarn. But for this project, for the Bolero that I'm knitting, I am 3-plying due to the yarn being very thin. So this is all I do. I slip every stitch to this here, the smaller needles. I just want to point out, you can knit around, or you can go back and forth. Which I prefer to do is back and forth, and I knit and I sew the sleeves after. If you say I don't want to do a sewing at the end, you can either go around and around and knit with the circular needles that I'm going to be knitting with. The way I don't like going around and around, it takes way longer to finish the sleeves if I go back and forth. That's how I see it. So I prefer to going back and forth instead of around and around. Okay, so what I do need is I need to grab my yarn here, and I need a crochet hook. This is how I pick up the stitches. Okay, so I'm just gonna attach my yarn. I hope it's not blurry, is it? Okay, I think this is better. Okay, okay, so I'm just gonna grab my yarn and just attach, just make a knot. I make a 2 knot, and then I weave the, this is how I do it, and I just weave. As you can see, this is an extra small size Bolero, so I only need to pick up so many stitches. So I'm going to be picking up total of, I would say, 6. Okay, so I'm just going to go here and grab a stitch like this, and then skip here and grab a stitch. Oh, that's too big. I don't want it big. Okay, I'll come here and grab it and come here. So this is 3. Okay, come here, grab 1, 4, 5, and then 6. Okay, so I did the 6. I'm going to divide this by 2. I'm just going to start knitting. This is how I knit. Where's my bigger needles? I think I dropped them somewhere here, and I can't find them. Oh, geez, okay, I need to, here they are. Here they are, they're hiding under the camera. Okay. So, what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to knit the 3 stitches to the small needle. So just knit 1, 2, and then 3. Okay, so this is going to be, and I'm going to start knitting with this. Okay, knit 1, 2. Okay, so I'm not going to knit the 3rd stitch. I'm just going to hold it, slip it to my big needle here. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to start knitting. To knit, just need to pull this. To knit, okay, I'm going to knit the one that I slipped, and the first stitch I'm going to knit them to get 2 together, because I don't want to have a hole. Usually a hole becomes, and I don't like any holes, so I just want to close the gap between whatever is between. So what I'm good, I put the 3rd stitch back to this needle, and I'm going to knit these together. And I'm going to try to knit it tightly so there would be no gap between. See, it's nice and closed now. So I'm just going to continue knitting. Just continue knit as you would normally knit all the way to the end. And remember, I did the 3 stitches and I included to the beginning of the needle. So when I come to that first stitch that I added, I'm going to be knitting that first stitch and the last stitch from the needle. So again, there would be no hole or nothing left. It would be nice and clean underneath the arm. Usually what I see is knitters, they sew that part, which I don't like. Why would you sew it? Just close it. Close the hole. You don't want any hole or anything left between. So just continue knitting all the way to the end, and I'll meet you at the end. I'm at the point, remember I knitted the 3 stitches that we picked it up and the first stitch. So as you can see, there's a big gap between. I want to close that gap. To do that, I'm just going to knit 2 stitches together to just cover that big gap, and I'm done. You can continue going around and around. It's your own preference, but I don't like to do that because I see it, for me, it's way slower to finish the sleeve. So what I do is I go back and I start knitting, go back and forth. And this way I'm going to be sewing this the underneath arm, the sleeve. So I knit it way faster, and it goes nice and smooth. Okay, and it's your own preference. You can continue, but after knitting about 2 inches, we're going to be decreasing, because the longer you go down from your underarm, you're going to be decreasing because of the sleeve option. So knit about 2 inches long. I'm just going to measure it again just to be on the safe side. So 2 inches for extra small would be perfect. But if it was for a medium size, then we would be knitting 1 inch and then decreasing. So this is for a small size, so knit about 2 inches long, and I'll meet you at this point when we start to decrease. I have knitted a total of 2 inches. You can either measure it or just figure it out. Just use your imagination. So I am going to be decreasing. So I don't knit the first stitch, I knit the second one as I'm purling. I'm decreasing on the back of the work, and I'm going to knit 2 stitches together and continue knitting all the way to the other end. So this is how I decrease, and I will be decreasing another one at the other side. This is how I do it. If you have your own way, you are welcome to do it. I'm just showing you how I do it, and you can add your own way, your own idea, your own way of how to decrease. Some people do it differently. This is how I do it. And so far I never had problems with my knitting methods. Okay, so I'm coming to the other end, and I will be continued doing this all the way to, this is going to be a 3/4 sleeve, so I'm going to be knitting total of 17 inches all the way down. So before I knit total of 15 inches, I will do the 2 inches of the knit 1 knit purl to give that elastic look at the end of the sleeve. So and when I'm doing the after 15 inches knitting, I will be decreasing where the wrist is. Remember, we did the decrease on the waist area, so we will be doing the same on the elastic area. Okay, so I am all the way to the end of the other side of the work. So 2, 4. Okay, when it's 4, I decrease the 2 stitches as to purl, and I continue knitting the 2 stitches. So this is how I decrease on one row, from one side to the other side, and I knit another 2 inches and I decrease. So continue doing that about 15 inches long, and I will meet you at where I'm going to be starting to decrease the elastic area. This the way I knit it on the waist area. So we will be decreasing. So knit about 15 inches, and do not forget to decrease every 2 inches on 2 sides. I have knitted total of 15 inches long, so I am ready to do the edge of the sleeves. I dropped my needle again. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, from here we're going to start doing 1 knit 1 purl. While doing it, we're going to be decreasing. So this is how long, and by doing it, so just slip the first stitch, knit, purl, knit. This is the 4th. On the 5th stitch, we're going to be purling 3 stitches together, so this way we're getting rid of 2 stitches. So we continue doing this. Knit, purl, knit, 4, it has to be 5 at least, so knit, and we're going to be doing 3 stitches. And as you can notice, I moved to my small needle from the bigger needle. So we're going to be knitting knit, purl about 2 inches with the small needles. So we did purl, knit, 4, 5, and then 3 together, purl 3 together. And this is how we do the edge, the elastic part. Knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, and then 3 together. and continue knitting about 2 inches, and I will meet you at the when we're casting off the sleeve. I have knitted another approximately 2 inches, so as you can see, it's tighter with the small needles. So I'm going back to my bigger needles, and I'm going to be starting to cast off. With the wrong side, I'm just going to use the purl technique to cast off. So 2 purl together, slip the stitch to the other needle, go back and 2 purl together, slip it back to this needle, and continue loosely. Continue casting on like this, and you will be done with the sleeve. And then what you can do is you can sew these 2 sides facing the right, and then sew it together. If you did the round and around and around way, then you don't need to sew. So you can go back and continue taking the stitches from the tool that we have for the other sleeve that we have to knit. So here is the other sleeve. So slip the stitches to the smaller needle like I showed you, and then continue knitting same as with the first sleeve that we knitted. And then I will meet you when you are finished with your Bolero. And this is how this is how I knit my Boleros, my Cape Middleton sweaters. Okay, and this is how you cast off. Knitting 2 together, slipping the stitch, and it is stretchy, and this is how it will look like. I just finished the Bolero with the 2 sleeves. Unfortunately, I noticed I showed you how to knit a long sleeve. Yeah. So if you want to knit a long sleeve from underarm here, from underarm way down, this is the one that I showed you is 17 inch. 15 inch, and then 2 inches of the elastic area becomes a long sleeve. If you want to knit a 3/4 sleeve, it should be total of 14 inches, so 3 inches shorter, less. Just wanted to point that out. I do apologize. And this is how I knit the Bolero, and this is the back of the work. Okay, it's after 2 a.m. here, so it's kind of dark. I try to wait for the sunlight to come, but I have to start another Bolero, another Cape Middleton sweater. And this is how I knit. As you can see, the mannequin is a medium size. The Shrug, the Cape Middleton sweater, is extra small, so it is kind of tight for this one. But otherwise, the 4 buttons will be buttoning comfortably. And this is how I knit my Boleros. Again, thank you very much for watching my tutorials. If you have any comments, please leave them below. Do not forget to subscribe, share it with your family and friends. You have a great day. Bye-bye.